Hey everyone, myself Meghna, the co-founder of Teen Chapter.
And myself, Manaswini Manta, the co-founder of Teen Chapter. Teen Chapter is an organization that focuses on featuring teen startups, youth-led organizations, and teen entrepreneurs.
Today we have Marika and Shannon on a conversation. They are the founders of Bookorators. Bookorators is a global student organization dedicated to providing K-12 students with the tools and resources they need to become better readers. They curate individualized book recommendations and book discussions, and they run events regularly at no cost. Hi, Marika and Shannon. Welcome to the conversation.
Thank you, Meghna, for having us here today.
Yeah. Tell our viewers a bit about yourselves, a bit about your background, where do you come from, what do you study?
Hi, I'm Murica. I'm a high school junior, currently in New Jersey. I love to read. Reading has always been a really big part of my life. And so that kind of inspired me to start Bookorators. And initially, it was supposed to be like a small community project, but I was really excited to see how it grew in the last year and a half with our team.
I'm Shannon. I'm 18 years old and I'm a senior and I'm from Singapore. And following up Marika's passion and desire, I also have felt that books have been a huge part of my life since day one. I will always be seen camping somewhere in the house with a book, and I would fall in love with other worlds and other authors. And so having this opportunity to start an organization and manage all of these people from all across the world is something that is quite memorable and definitely quite fulfilling.
Yeah. Right, that's amazing. Do you want to tell a bit about your organization, what it does?
Yeah, definitely. So like you said, Bookorators is a 501c3 nonprofit, and we do a lot of things. We have book recommendations, we host events. We've hosted mostly virtual events like book clubs and workshops with different groups of kids, such as like at schools or with like broader collaborations such as with the National Library of Singapore. And basically through all of our efforts, we just hope to connect people with reading in a more like, we just want to connect people more with reading, especially in the 21st century, which is such a digital age and also very STEM centric, where reading and writing, those important literacy skills have been pushed to the back burner. And then like we also host like a speaker series to like share the stories of like diverse authors and their books, as well as having like a podcast to also highlight some diverse authors each month. And we just really we're like a multimedia organization, you could almost say, because we try to connect people in multiple ways to reading.
Yes, Marina has covered much of what we do, but maybe to add on, I would say our organization mainly focuses on just providing resources to everyone, whether you are in our team or you are our audience, whether you're parents or kids, because we provide articles, book recommendations, book clubs, workshops, and all of our services and everything we do really benefits both parties who is providing it and receiving it as well. So yes, I think it really helps to broaden the mindsets of kids all across the world who love reading or want to get into reading. Yeah.
So how did you come up with the idea of starting a book club?
So for Bookorators, I can kind of elaborate on how I started it, and obviously none of it would have been possible without Shannon. So just wanted to give her a shout out there. But I started it probably around February 2020 as a small Girl Scouts project, because it was something I was looking to do, combining my love for reading, community service, just for like a Girl Scouts project. And then the pandemic obviously shut us down. It's supposed to be in person, book clubs at like libraries and my old elementary schools. But I realized that it would be more conducive to convert to a virtual format. And the organization really branched out. And of course, like I said, I'll do parts to like, especially Shannon's efforts. And like we both just worked a lot to expand the organization and get a lot of outreach out there.
Yeah, I would say everything it isn't possible if not for Marika. She helped set the foundation for everything, and I don't know, I just tried to give a bit of organization and time into it, and we both definitely work really well with each other. If not, this wouldn't have been possible. And yeah, so I guess we just built upon the idea of books, reading, and education, and then we just thought of what could we elaborate on, what else could we bring to the table. So, and it has worked out so far, and we have fun doing it. So I guess that's the most important thing.
So what kind of opportunities do you provide to the readers or just people in general?
Do you want to start off, Shannon?
Sure. Okay, so besides the things mentioned before, such as recommendations, customized recommendations, and we have an online book recommendation list of over 1,000 books from different genres and age groups. We also have the articles. We have many social media graphics in all our different platforms for people to just maybe read a synopsis of a book, or have just get quick book picks for the month. We also have podcasts for people to listen to whenever they're traveling to places, and we also provide interactions with like-minded people. So if you love books, or if you're interested in talking to people who like books, we offer some sort of channel for people to just talk about like-minded discussion topics. And yeah, our speaker series. So I think I covered a bit, might have missed out a little bit. So Marika can.
General events.
Yeah,
That's
we've
great, yeah.
done a few workshops, a few book clubs, some the main one was the partnership with the huge National Library Board of Singapore, which I thought was a really cool thing, because in Singapore we have many national libraries, and it's pretty well established. So it was interesting that they were interested to do a workshop with us. And yeah, we also have some things that we are still planning. So, and we hope to roll them out soon.
That's great. When I was young, I used to live in Singapore. So I used to go to one of the libraries in Singapore to attend the events. I still have some of the books I've got there. So yeah. And how many places did you start a chapter? And do you want to talk about your chapter a bit?
Yeah, sure. So we have chapters across the United States as well as like abroad. So we have a chapter in Indonesia, like in Jakarta, one in New Jersey, which is in Jersey City. We have one in Idaho, Boise, Idaho. We have one in Texas and one in New York. So as they all started during like a virtual school, we're still now with this new school year, with our final return to in person, we are now just getting back into actually having them host like in-person workshops and book clubs. In a broader sense, I really just want to bring back reading to the forefront of education. It's such an important skill to have. It's one that's not as emphasized, even coming from like someone who I am interested in STEM, like even as someone interested in STEM, like reading is so important. And my classes are unfortunately mostly STEM centric, I would say, but I always enjoy my English and history classes. Those are usually placed at a lower importance than like your math and science classes, which shouldn't be the case because reading and writing are such valuable skills, and they used to emphasize it a lot more 10, 15 years ago. And with the digital age, it's just like, oh yeah, like reading's not going to get you anywhere. Like people say that, but that's completely not true. And I guess adding on to the broader sense of literacy, it would be really nice to work with kids in lesser fortunate situations to help them develop strong reading skills, because as of now, we've been kind of limited in our impact to like
how reading is a very nerdy thing, or how reading is somewhat uncool or something. Because I remember my friends would be saying how reading isn't something that a cool person would do. I don't know how you get what I mean, right? And then for one example is my sister. She will always see me in the past carrying on my books. Whether there's like Percy Jackson, Geronimo Stilton, no matter what book, she would find it a bit weird that I'm always reading. And then all of a sudden this year, she finally gets into reading, and it's like, oh wow, I'm so cool. I love reading now. So I feel that it's sort of raising awareness, just showing that reading is accessible, right? You can, in this digital age, you can just go online and then you can see all these recommendations, these articles, all these book picks, and sort of widen your perspective on different opinions, different views, and yeah, just make it more accessible for everyone.
What you've said is absolutely the truth, because these days no one actually reads any books, and this initiative is really helpful for people to raise awareness and then start reading books. That's really nice. So I've seen that you've had a great, strong social media base. So how do you get that?
It definitely took a long time. Like this is the result after maybe a year and a half of just like consistent outreach to like students, other organizations. We started with Instagram, and then we branched out to like LinkedIn and Twitter we occasionally use, but we find that our main social base is like Instagram, LinkedIn. We have a few followers, and then YouTube for our speaker spotlight. So like those are the three. It's also on Spotify for our podcast. But like we've just been,
Previously, you've mentioned you have a podcast, and also what platforms do you use for podcast, and what type of content do you make for your podcast?
So we have a monthly podcast on Spotify, which you can check out at Bookorators. And so monthly we highlight authors from diverse backgrounds or books with diverse stories. Like, for instance, we just released our September episode, which is in honor of National Hispanic Heritage Month, and we highlighted like 3 or 4 books that we each picked, us, the podcast hosts, picked, and we just shared kind of like the insight we gained, our reflections, as well as like encouraging our readers to like, this isn't an exhaustive list, but go out and find more books from diverse authors, with diverse characters and representation, because it really expands your worldview to read stories from characters with different perspectives than your own.
Right. So what are some events you are planning to do in the future? Because we've seen a lot of events which you guys have been doing in the past, and I regularly follow you on Instagram. So I'm curious to know what are some events you're planning for the future.
So right now we have a few, we've been doing a few talks with authors with our speaker spotlight, which you can watch on YouTube under the channel Bookorators. So we have a bunch coming up on our YouTube. And then for events, we're going to be hosting book clubs for elementary students. We might branch out to older teens, maybe reading a book like all of us together. And we're hoping to do a few more workshops with different libraries, both locally and internationally abroad.
I feel like we might also try to do a project to reach out to underprivileged children, kids in rural areas, in rural countries, something like that, because we haven't really had that much time to sort of dive into that, because we were setting up our foundations and maintaining our, I guess, activities in the US and Singapore. So maybe once we have more time, for example, after I finish my exams and everything, maybe we would figure something out about that. Yeah, but I guess you can just keep looking at our Instagram to see what we are up about.
Sure, definitely. So as you've mentioned twice already about the Speaker Spotlight series, so would you like to let us know what it is about?
Yeah, so we reach out to authors to talk about their journey to becoming a published author, because it's obviously it's a difficult journey to get from like writing a manuscript or like actually formulating an idea, writing a manuscript, and then submitting it, getting it published, getting it out there with readers. So we've been interviewing a lot of authors, asking them about their stories, sharing about their upcoming books or recently published books. And the really great thing I think about the Speaker Spotlight series is that you're exposed to a lot of diverse authors, and obviously they have diverse stories to tell. So it's been really great to just interact with them, talk about their upcoming books, and just share it with our viewers. Yeah.
All right. How did you come up with the blind date for the book concept? That sounds very interesting. So do you want to talk a bit about it?
Yeah, so it was actually initiated by one of our team members. And yeah, so I guess we want there to be a greater sense of ownership in our team. So then we always welcome new ideas, new projects, new initiatives. So one of our team members came up with this idea of doing blind dates with books. And I thought it was really interesting and unique. So she chose a few books and some ideas, some facts about it. And then you make the reader feel interested by these small facts and ideas, and then it will finally be revealed what this book is, and then they could look up to see more information about this book and how they will be able to read it. So I feel this is a much more intriguing way to draw potential readers in and sort of give a spark to the rather traditional book reading. So I would say that the unique thing about it was done by one of our team members and it was led by her. So I feel that it gives this added interest and passion. And yeah, it's just something that we were really excited to put up on our website and publicize. And yeah, hopefully we'll be able to expand more on this.
Right. So would you like to give our viewers any advice in terms of book reading?
I think the one thing I would say is you just need to find the right book. There are so many books out there. Obviously, we've encountered like there's some books that are hard to read, just because maybe you're not really used to the language or flow of like writing or the story. But there's so many books out there. It just takes not even just like 5 pages, 6 pages. Just start with 5 or 6 pages and at least like go through a chapter and you'll find yourself just like really immersed in the book if it's something that clicks. It just takes it's hard to prioritize reading, but it just takes like maybe you have a lazy Saturday afternoon where you can just like sit on your couch, grab a good book and read with like the sunlight like streaming into your, like that's the ideal situation to be in. But it just takes one step, I think, to like just become a better reader. And to become a better reader, you just need to read more. Like that's it. Part because I found so many friends across the world. Like without Bookorators, I probably wouldn't have met any of the people on my team, which is just so great. It's opened up so many like new friendships, new opportunities. And like Shannon said, we have a variety of positions. So there's definitely something for everyone, based on your skill set. So, and there's always like opportunities to learn more, dive into something you're passionate about. Just tell us and we'll be happy to work with you to like, make that a reality.
Right. That's amazing. It's been so great talking to both of you. We've learned so much and we've come to an end in this conversation. So thank you so much for being here. It was amazing speaking with both of you and learning so much from you.
No, thank you so much for having us. We really appreciated getting to speak with you today.
Yeah, it was great getting some time then sitting down and talking with us. We really enjoyed it. And yeah, it's amazing what you guys are doing, just talking to founders of many different organizations. And I think it's really a fun experience.
Right. Thank you so much.